Hello, creative citizens of the Republic of Creators podcast, a unique platform where we bring on some of the top YouTube and online content creators to talk about, to share their secret sauce to success. Today, I'm very excited to have on the show somebody that I've known for a very long time, somebody that sort of like creates a similar sort of content as compared to what I do on my main channel, the Savvy BG Show as well. It's my pleasure to introduce Bahador with Bahador Alast YouTube channel with 163,000 subscribers with over 117 videos. Bahador makes videos which demonstrate cultural and linguistic similarities between different nations. Basically, he combines his passion for learning about the history of cultures and languages with his love for wanting to bring people from different backgrounds closer together. I love the content that you do, Bahadur. I've been watching your videos for a very long time. I love your thumbnail. I love your strategies. You get so many views. I mean, I sometimes get really jealous when I look at your views because you're doing so well on YouTube. But to start with, how are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me on your show. And yeah, it's a pleasure. We're doing okay. As you know, I do these videos as my fun hobby on the side. And right now we have a lot of free time, but we're not really able to record videos. Because my full-time job, it's basically on the operations on pause right now. So I thought that I would have so much free time to be able to record a lot more videos, but we really can't for pretty obvious reasons. But yeah, overall, it's all good. I still have a few videos from before that I'm going to be editing, and it's been brought to my attention by a few different subscribers who are very very dedicated, and they've asked me to do videos over on Zoom or Skype, or so we're thinking about that as well. So other means, at least for the time being.
Right. Okay, amazing. So tell me a little bit about that. On the Zoom, I've seen your content. You bring a couple of people together. They talk about their culture, their tradition, their food, and all that kind of stuff. So are you thinking of a similar thing where people will be joining on from their videos, and then you would sort of also join as the host and get the conversation going?
The content will be the same. So it's really similarities between different cultures and languages. So what I do research beforehand. You pick two languages, for instance, whatever, and then say Russian and Serbian, or any language that you've seen. There's so many different videos, so many different nations on my channel. So doing videos on through Zoom, we'll be doing the same thing. So I would have two other people who speak two separate languages, and then I find the words in common between them and basically make a video in the same format, except that we're not going to be sitting down together to do it.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think it'll do really well as well. And I think your channel, definitely have that leverage where I think you can really, you can really take advantage of people sitting in their houses and having the discussion going. I think you can really take advantage of that. Why don't we do this? Why don't we start with, Badr, you talking about how did it all begin? Tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel, what you do there exactly, and how did it all start?
Well, it started just as a hobby. My wife and I mean, I had the channel just, for fun. I wasn't really doing much with it. I was just making videos when I traveled. But the idea, my wife and I had this, when we were talking about finding ways to bring people closer together. And, we live in Toronto and have so many different friends from different backgrounds and different cultures. And I always had this history of how languages and cultures influence one another. This is something I had a lot of interest in from a long time ago, and something I came across when I was traveling a lot. I think I mentioned before that my job is I work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, so I have half the month off. And before I was single, before didn't have kids and all that, I used to travel a lot. Every month I was going to a different country, and during that time, I remember going to different places, and I constantly come across certain cultural aspects or certain words in different languages where I recognize this, or this looks familiar, this is interesting, and And that's probably where the idea kind of started, where I'm like, it would be kind of cool to, demonstrate this on a bigger scale somehow and use it as a way, and that's when we thought about it, is we can use this as a way of bringing people closer together. They get to learn about each other and also, put it out there so, millions of other people do the same thing.
Amazing, amazing. That's that's pretty inspiring. I mean, how you convert a thought into a way for you to be able to show that to the world, how you think about it and how people can perceive that as well. So that's really amazing. What does your content strategy look like, Bahadur? How do you start from the whole coming up with an idea to the recording it and producing it for YouTube? How does the whole process look like?
So, you know, I first of all, I need to know what two cultures or two languages I'm comparing, right? So once I know that, and I know that there is some kind of connection between them, or whatever it is, then I look into it and I do some research. In some cases, it's pretty easy. I can pick it up very easily. And some languages I'm very familiar with, so those are easy. But sometimes it requires more research. Once I have that ready, I will just basically bring people, and before it used to be a lot of my close friends and then friends of friends, and later on, as the channel grew, now we have a lot of our subscribers who live in Toronto that reach out to me and say, hey, I speak this language and I want to take part in the video. So yeah, we organize, and get together and record the video, and that's pretty much it.
Do you do everything yourself, from recording, arranging people to meet up, to the editing? Is there any part of your process that you have outsourced as well?
No, I do it all myself. Just to me, it's just a hobby, right? Like it's like doing something that you love doing for fun, and I enjoy doing it. The research for me is the most enjoyable part, and then also getting together and meeting new people and bringing them closer. That's also something that I love. So I really just enjoy doing it. I get a lot of help from my wife, but it's just basically the two of us doing it.
Okay, so you touched on something that I want to sort of like get a bit deeper into, which is you get a lot of support from your wife. When you start on YouTube, it's not like becoming a doctor, it's not like becoming an engineer, which you actually are, but it's something that normal people don't do. As sometimes your family members say, hey, well, you can't make this your business, you can't just do this full time, keep this as your hobby. Tell me this: how did you see the support coming in from your family and friends when you started, and now that you have over 100,000 subscribers on your channel and millions of views, how has the perception changed within your family about what you do on YouTube?
I think I would say in the beginning, most people just didn't really get it. Like people that were really close to us. Most of them. Some people thought it was pretty interesting, but as it began to grow, so many others became interested in like seeing what we're doing. But as I said, like in the beginning, it was friends and family members who were helping us to make these videos because they were the participants, right? So we did have a lot of support, but there were quite a lot of people who didn't really kind of understand the purpose behind this.
Was there actually a purpose, or as you said, you were just doing it as a hobby, as you enjoyed it, and you were getting the engagement and the response, you kept doing it, and then now you're thinking of what direction you may want to take this into in future? But was there actually any purpose when you started, and is there a purpose now?
The purpose, I mean, the more important part is I like this is something I enjoy, but the purpose was really, how can we use this interest and hobby and combine it with, the whole concept of having actual people come together. People, especially in a lot of the videos, these are people from two different countries that are in conflict with one another or have been in conflict for, decades, right? So they come, they sit down, they laugh and chat about what they have in common. And I think for me, that was always the main purpose of the channel, right? The educational entertainment factor is great, but
Right.
Being able to me, that's the main purpose. The rest of it is just really for fun, and it's just a hobby, something I enjoy doing, right?
Right, but do you think that, over the course of 150,000 subscribers and years of you doing this, a new purpose has evolved that really pushes you now as compared to when you were doing it just for fun in the beginning?
I can't really say there's a new purpose. I think I would really like to see it grow and have a much bigger impact, but that impact is pretty much under the same lines. So I look at what I've seen and experienced in my life, uh, whether when I was living in Iran or in Canada, within different communities, and the negativity I've come across in a lot of places within all sorts of communities, right? And to me, to be able to kind of counter that and do something so that it has an impact on people and they start to view or see their neighbors in a positive way, on a much bigger scale, not just some people who watch the videos and maybe felt a little different, but on a much bigger scale, right? So that would be my biggest purpose.
You talked about when we chatted earlier that you don't do YouTube full time right now, even though you have a pretty big audience influence and you get so many views on almost every video of yours. You're not doing this full time. You are an engineer and you do that job full time. Would you want to do, given a chance, would you actually do YouTube full time? Is that something that you even want to do in future if possible?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. I never really thought about it. People have mentioned it to me before and said, you could grow so much bigger. But maybe sometime down the road, but not right now.
Let me put you on the spot. God comes to you and he offers you only one thing, your engineering job and YouTube. And let's assume both will pay equally for now. And in future, we know that YouTube can actually generate much more income if it's possible because, you have an influence. But let's say if God gives you only one choice, which is, Bahadur, choose your engineering. You will be able to either make videos starting tomorrow or go back to your engineering job. What would you choose tomorrow?
Well, I have to give you an honest response. Since I'm an atheist and I don't believe in God, that doesn't really apply to me, right? But if there was an actual, if I could actually see that this is going to work and this is going to really make more money than my full-time job, so that I'd be able to still support my family and I'll be able to, live the kind of life that I have, then sure, why not? But the thing is, I just don't know if I can really, put all my eggs in one basket and be like, this is it. I can go, big with this and just quit my job and have this. This is it. Like I'm not going to be doing anything else. At least not for now, right? So I play it safe and I enjoy my full-time job. I enjoy, the going to work and everything. So maybe if the conditions were different, like I might be thinking differently. But for the time being, I think this is the right thing for me to keep it just as a part-time hobby. But in the future, you never know, right? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like if you told me 2-3 years ago that I'm going to have a channel that's going to be has this many subscribers and this many views, I wouldn't think that was possible, right? So anything can happen.
Absolutely. I think I kind of like get the idea of what you're saying, which is at this point, you're still having fun. You've gained a massive influence and you see that there may be some future of you being able to do this full time. And you would, in case the situation comes where you're able to, in a position to, you'll probably enjoy it even more. But you're just kind of like going with the flow and see like where it goes and takes you.
Exactly. I just go with the flow. I just play it by ear.
Amazing. No, amazing. With that, you have a full-time job right now and you have a YouTube channel and probably, with that many subscribers and that many views, you get a lot of comments as well. And I can see when you talk a lot about languages, people who are from those cultures would normally want to engage with you. How do you manage your time, keeping a full-time job, having a family, having a big YouTube channel, responding back to people, thinking about new videos, and probably another couple of hobbies that we don't even know about, which we'd like to get into in the later part of this podcast. But how do you manage your time?
Honestly, it's not easy. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you know what, I can use a break, right? But I think the most important or what's helped both of us a lot is having the support of our parents, my in-laws and my wife. So if we want to record a video, like we used to do it inside our condo because we live downtown. We moved here not that long ago, right? To into the suburbs. But at that time, a lot of times it was just having support from others, support from our parents, to be able to take care of our daughter, to once we're doing this, or having help, having support from them in general, that really helped. But it's, I guess, just time management, right? Like I just prioritize what's important, and I used to do this. I used to upload a video once a week, and then I changed it to once every 2 weeks because I thought that was a lot, that was feasible, right?
Right.
So yeah, like I had to change my schedule as well, whereas if I wasn't working full time and we didn't have a daughter, like at that time things were different, right? Like when you don't have kids, or you're not working full time, then you have a lot more free time, right?
Right. And I think it's also surprising, most of the growth of your channel probably came around the time, I guess, after you were planning to have a kid and then you had your daughter. So a lot of that has been around you raising a kid as well. So congratulations on that, man.
Thank you. I you know what, that actually did help because once our daughter was born, I took 9 months off work. I went on parental leave, and that 9-month period really gave me a lot more time to be able to work. As much as we have, you got the baby duties and all of that going on, but because we had so much support from my wife's parents and my parents, it still gave us a good amount of free time to be able to at least spend a couple hours here and there, do some research, and then when we set up to do the videos, it only takes maybe 15-20 minutes to record the actual video, sometimes half an hour, right?
So I think a good strategy would be to have a kid, and that may give you a lot of free time. But I think the situation we have going on right now, everybody has a lot of time, and I think just the way I started this new podcast, and I see a lot of growth on my existing channel as well, I'm guessing you too, a good time for us to invest some time in making videos.
Yeah, for sure. And like I was saying, I was always the type of person who likes to do the videos by just being there together, right? Like that's one of the biggest reasons, like bringing people together physically, right? But now I can see why it would be beneficial to do videos, especially because so many of the subscribers don't live in Toronto or in Canada or in North America, right? Like, so they would love to take part in these videos.
Yeah, and I want to ask you a question with that, which is, what is your growth strategy? What are you doing? What are the things that you're doing to further grow your channel to maybe 500,000, 1 million subscribers?
I wouldn't say there's anything special. I think it's kind of just been organic. On YouTube, it just grows, and I see the videos get shared by a lot of other people. And the first time, I think the first time somebody recognized me on the street, I remember it was in North York. It was in a plaza. We're just like walking around, and some guy comes and says, "Hey, I love your videos." And I was like, "Oh, this is great," like I never expected that. This guy really, came all the way from over there just to tell me this, and then just to say thank you, and then he left, right? So from that moment on, and this happened later on again, many other occasions, but I noticed that those people tell me themselves, they're like, I share your videos everywhere. I tell everybody about them, and I noticed that that's kind of been helping the channel grow as well, because people who really love and enjoy it are the ones who are spreading it out there. I don't, I mean, I do post videos on my Instagram, but my Instagram account is not that big. And, now that it's grown a little bit, it is still half of the people are, I would say maybe like a third of them are people that I know personally, that I've met in person, or their friends and family, right? I do post videos on there, but I don't think that's really helping the channel grow. I think what helps a lot is just the videos trending, or people who are big fans of the channel spreading them.
That's a good point you've raised, which is, leveraging your YouTube audience to grow on Instagram and maybe any other online video platform as well. Do you have any content repurpose strategy? Are you actively posting your videos or mini videos of your YouTube videos on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn? Is there any content repurpose strategy that you have?
Not really. I mean, I just post short little clips of some of the videos on Instagram, but that's about it. Once in a while, maybe on Facebook, but that's really it. Like I don't really use any other platform to advertise the videos. Like I don't know, Twitter or Reddit, or I've seen the videos on these platforms, but by other people. Like I don't really do it myself.
Yeah, I think just knowing your channel, Bahadur, I think TikTok would be a great platform for you because you do have so much content already, like 100 videos. I think you can easily make 1 minute short segments of those videos and post on TikTok. Right now, TikTok algorithm is really helping new and upcoming creators that are posting constant content. And because people like you and I already have so much content that we can repurpose, maybe look into TikTok, and I think you should see some growth from TikTok as well. I think it's really helpful. Makes sense. Are there any tools or softwares that you particularly use to create your YouTube videos or to grow on YouTube? Can you also, maybe while answering, can you also let us know what sort of equipment do you use?
Well, I have a philosophy where I think I want to minimize the amount of time I put into editing videos, and I want to focus just on the content. I want to be able to create something where people just watch it purely for the content. They don't really care about how the editing was done or whatever. So, having said that, I got a pretty decent camera. It's a Canon, and then a decent mic, and I use that because I want at least the, the, the picture, the audio, and the visuals to look good. But as far as editing the video, I really don't spend too much time on it. It's really just I just cut some parts out, and this is it. It's kind of good to go. Put subtitles on which words that I'm using in the video, and I really don't put that much time in editing the video. Again, that's just my philosophy. Like I'm not against people putting a lot of work into editing their videos, making it look good.
Right.
I think this is what works for me, right? And again, like as you were saying, like as far as time management and all that stuff with everything going on and being busy with work and family and all that stuff, that also is very important to not
Absolutely.
put too much time into editing a video.
Okay. Okay. Tell me this: would you have any? We're towards the end of the interview as well. So one question I do want to ask you is, would you have any advice for content creators on YouTube that are starting now? Especially people that are really scared to start. A lot of people won't start because they feel they don't have the right equipment, they don't know nothing, they don't know what videos to make. Would you have any advice for people that are beginning at this time?
I think, in my opinion, I never look at a channel or someone's work and say, oh, this is not good or this is annoying or whatever. I feel like everybody can have an audience. Like I might not enjoy something, I might not enjoy certain content, but I'm sure there are thousands of other people who do, right? It's the same thing goes with what I do, right? Like I don't get offended if someone tells me like your videos are crap or this is boring or whatever. I'm like, okay, you don't like it, but there are lots of other people who do, right? So what I can tell people is, if you have an idea, stick with it. Don't give up. And if you want your channel to grow, stick to a theme. Like don't be all over the place, right? Don't have like, okay, a little video of something here, and then the next day you do something about, I don't know, cooking, and then you're exercising, and then like you have a theme, have something that you like and you're interested in, stick to it, have a schedule, and I'm sure whatever it is, you can definitely grow and find an audience. Because I think there are lots of interesting ideas out there. There's nothing that you can say this is boring and stupid or whatever. Might be boring to a group of people, but it's going to be interesting and fun for a lot of other people. So that's really what I could say to anybody who's interested in starting a channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that piece of advice. I think with that, we're going to wrap it up, but you mentioned that you're going to be hosting some Zoom content on your channel and, with the...
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I haven't actually scheduled anything, but
Right.
yeah.
I'm sure some of the people that are listening to this podcast would like to come and see your YouTube channel and the kind of content you produce. So for that, can you tell our audience where can people find you?
Well, yeah, if you just type in my name on YouTube, Bahador Alast, you'll find the videos. And basically, most of the videos are titled similarities between this language and that language. Whatever. There are lots of languages. So yeah, they're all over YouTube. If you Google it as well, if you Google, for example, I don't know, similarities between Turkish and some language, chances are the videos will pop up. So yeah, I mean, that's the best way. If you just search on YouTube, you'll find them.
Awesome. Well, Bahadur, it was a wonderful experience talking to you and learning from you on how you grew your channel. Thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedule to come and taking some time to come and speak to us. And anybody that's listening to this podcast, guys, you can make sure to follow the podcast, and as well as the mini videos from this podcast will be posted on our YouTube channel called Republic of Creators. So if you're listening to this on the audio side of things, you can also go and subscribe to YouTube for your daily dose of tips and tricks on YouTube and other online video platforms. Once again, thank you so much for listening to us, and we'll see you in the next podcast.